Hi, everybody. I hope you're behaving yourselves for Mr. Schultz. Remember, your behavior today determines whether we get to do fun stuff when I'm away in the future. We're in our light and color packet, which shouldn't come as any surprise. Let's take a look at page 5. Page 5, you should have this chart filled out, but I think some of you might have missed the patterns at the bottom. Remember, we look for patterns in this class. So I want you to be looking for what are the rules for mixing light? What are the rules for how did you get your final mix color? And then on page 6, look at this question. This is the sort of thing that could be on the test. This is also the sort of thing that I'm going to look for that's going to tell me the difference between a C packet and an A packet. All right, so you're going to make sure you have 5 and 6 finished first. Then we're going to look at the subtractive color mixing. So each table is going to have 4 original sources. So you're going to have a cyan, a magenta, a yellow, and a black. So the eyedropper is for transferring color from here to your Petri dish. You will only use this dropper to remove the color from this bottle. You can't mix it because if you mix it, you're just going to get a total mess. The color mixing has to occur in your Petri dish. It's not going to occur on paper or in the in these containers because that would be awful. You're going to need some index cards. Now, we've been nice. Instead of getting the big ones and making you cut them, we've made small ones for you. So here is a really big version of what you're doing. You're going to paint a vertical black stripe down the middle of each of your little cards. You should do that first. Then you're going to paint a horizontal bar of the color. So you need the black and the white, so when you view it under different color light, you can see whether it's lighter or darker. So you're going to paint one card each with cyan, magenta, and yellow. That's easy. Then you're going to try to mix these different colors. As you're mixing, as you're adding the drops of cyan or magenta and you're swirling it with your paintbrush, you need to keep track of the recipe. If you don't, you won't be able to replicate this on Thursday or Friday. So, after you mix your colors and paint your swatches, it'll ask you here to mix your red and green paint, and then it wants you to compare that to what happens with the red and green light. Okay, now you're going to talk about when stuff's reflected, what does that mean? So when I have the cyan light we found out yesterday is made from a mixture of green and blue light. You should have that on page 5. So that means that red is the colored light that's absent from cyan. So it's absorbing red light and it's reflecting the other lights. That sounds kind of like a key piece of information that one might need to make their logo. So remember, our goal here, after we do all these steps, is you're going to make this logo, and it's going to look different under blue, green, and red light. So, after you've made your swatches, you're going to look at them under light. Now, if you make the swatches today, you are in good shape. This is for the gunners. If you get your stuff done, you're going to look at it under the different lights, and you're going to record under which color light does it look the brightest? Does it look most like it does under white light? And which one does it look the darkest? Which one does it fade to black? Okay, here's some housekeeping things. For each of your desks, you get one of the things of paint of each color. You get a cup to put your water in. Each person gets a paintbrush, and it should be enough for each person to get a mixing dish, or at least 2 per table. At the end of the period, Mr. Schultz will not let you go to your next class unless you have your whole area cleaned up, your brushes are rinsed out, you got a new cup of water, and all your stuff is put back away on the counter. Okay, let's look around the room for a minute. Please look up by the fish tank with the mollies in it, by the calculators. You'll see there some numbered bins. There's also some Ziploc bags, just like we had in Barbie Bungee. When you have dry paint stuff, when you have dry paint swatches, you can put them in the Ziploc bag and put them in the bin for this class period. You would need to put your name on the Ziploc bag. If you are impatient and want your stuff to dry quicker, if you look on the demonstration table in the front of the room by the past work bin, you'll see I have 2 hair dryers. You could use the hair dryers to dry your paint swatches. If you continue around the room in a counterclockwise direction, you'll see the light booths for the red, green, and blue lights. Again, that'll look the best if you make the room dark or put the piece of cloth over your body. In front of the windows, you'll see a sign that says drying area. Now, if you have paint swatches that aren't dry, don't put them in a bag. That ends very badly. You should be laughing by now, but there's somebody that does that every year, and I don't know why. So, do make sure you have your name on the back of the swatches. All of these swatches look the same, and you're going to put your not dry, your wet paint swatches in the drying area. Then underneath the mural of the Grebes is the place where you will put back your neat paints and paintbrushes and water cups, etc. Okay, so hopefully this all goes well. Again, please, please, please clean up your areas. Please, please, please don't mess with my paints. And I hope you guys have a real good day. I think this is pretty darn fun. All right, see ya.